it's Sammy here from Shirley's Home Rescue Organization. Happy Easter! This is Corona. I'm here today at the place where I board Andy and Corona, their mother and daughter. So today we're going to be working with Corona, and I'm going to be grooming her as of right now. Hi Jax, hello. And we're going to put a saddle on her today. And I don't use a bit or anything like that, so she's gonna have a bosal or a breaking bridle on. I don't like to use the term breaking because I don't want to break her spirit. I want to build her up. Can I help you? But we're going to put a bosal on her and see if she can get used to it. We're going to help her just start her journey, huh? Yeah.
Why don't you like using a bit?
Personally, I think to each their own, you know, but I just don't want to cause them any pain. I don't want to have to put her under and have her get her wolf teeth removed because they're growing in fine. She hasn't had any problems. I just don't think it's my cup of tea to put a big chunk of metal in their mouth for just human benefit. It's actually proven that they're more comfortable without a bit, and they can actually behave better because they're not in pain, so they're less likely to act up. So yeah, so today we're just going to be putting a bosal. I don't want to put a ton of weight on her because her bones are not fully formed, and you're supposed to only put 20% of their body weight with tack and yourself, which clearly she does not have enough weight and meat and height on her to hold me quite yet. It's hard trying to find the right age to break a horse, or I like to say start under the saddle. It's just basically on how they're developing and what you want to do with them. I have all the time in the world to wait for her, so we're just gonna take it step by step. So the first step is putting a little saddle on you. Yeah, she's pretty good with that stuff, so we'll see how it goes.
When do you like plan on riding her?
You know, that's a complicated question. So I don't know, obviously it's hard to wait. It really is. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, I know.
However, you kind of have to, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so
you gotta train them and everything, and you can't just immediately hop on a horse, like,
yeah,
especially this little.
It really bugs me when I see people just like, oh, we're gonna break a horse, like, and they just jump on and the horse is freaking out. Like, it's not how you do it. You have to form a relationship and a bond with that animal so they can learn to trust you, and they know when you're on their back, you're not gonna hurt them because they are prey animals and they are very aware of things going on, and we look as if we are predators because obviously we are. But yeah, you just gotta work on getting them to trust you, and that's the most important thing with every animal, especially prey animals, because if they can't trust you, it's not gonna go well with you on your back. They are stronger than you, and anything that happens to you while you're on a horse is your fault because you are getting on the horse's back, and that is something that's not natural. They're not built for that, but that is what they have become to humans. So that's why you got to make sure that with you being on a horse, you have to treat them with respect, and you have to show them that I respect you, I trust you, you can trust me, I'm not going to hurt you. And that's the only way you're going to build a proper relationship with your horse.
So we're gonna go ahead and groom her and then proceed, right?
Yep.
Cool.
So here I am, just grooming Corona, giving her a basic, very everyday grooming session. I always make sure when I walk behind them, I walk very close because they have less power behind their kick. They've never really kicked at me. I just like to be safe and careful. This is how I was taught growing up. And then here you can see me put on the saddle pad. This isn't her first time with a saddle on. This is probably her third or fourth. So she gets used to it slowly, just building up time and being considerate of how she is reacting to different things, adjusting so the saddle pad doesn't slip. And here I am putting on the girth, which I did start on the proper side, and then I decided to tighten it on the incorrect side, but it doesn't really matter too much because a girth does have two sides to it. So yeah, it really just depends on what you want. Yeah, there's a correct side, but I don't care really. And then you can just see me tightening the girth and her reaction to it. Again, not a huge fan, doesn't enjoy it. And then me just explaining the Bosul right here. I don't know the correct pronunciation. I call it a Bosul, but there's the reins, the whippy thingy. And I have never done this before with her as far as putting the halter around her neck. So she did have issues with it. She was not a huge fan. She didn't understand what to do. And then putting the Bosul on her was quite a challenge because I had to retie it and adjust it for her, which I've only done once before to adjust it to Andy. I do like a Bosul or a breaking bridle because it is very gentle on their face, although I prefer a bitless bridle, but I just figured this would probably be what's best for her at this point in time so she can understand the concept of having something on her face. And so here I am attempting to tie the reins in a knot so if it slips, she can't get her leg caught in it. And obviously right here you can see she did not handle the Bosul very well. She was bucking and kicking and just acting up, which isn't her normal character. And it was actually kind of sad to watch her struggle, which of course I would never ever want to see my horses struggle. So after a minute of trying to get her to just adapt to it and go around the pen, she just really wasn't having it. It wasn't her thing. Like you can see in just these brief clips how it was making her toss her head and buck and rear. At one point she actually jumped completely in the air. It was really sad, and I just didn't want that to happen to her and didn't want her to have a bad experience. So to avoid her ending on a bad note, I decided to take off the Bosul and just leave on the saddle. And here coming up you can see me lunging her with the Bosul. Very basic lunging. I sped it up because who cares. She was doing very good in this clip, but not exactly what I was asking her to do. She turned around okay, but would just stop, and it was just not good. So to avoid any negative experience for her, I took it off. Right here you can see me taking it off. She's very calm throughout that process. She understood that I was helping her. So then I decided to lunge her with just the saddle, which you can see clearly right here. The flapping sound of the saddle was what was freaking her out, and I noticed that. It happened in the past before, and she bucked once, but she's getting used to it. And I don't put stirrups on it just because I don't want metal hitting her. But then I took it off, and she did fantastic, as she normally does. Walk, trot, canter, perfectly fine. So it ended up being a good day, and we ended on a very good note. So just wanted to put that in. So this is Andy. She is Corona's mother. I did not have her when she was pregnant. Her previous owner was a little neglectful. They had 17 horses, and they were just not in a situation where they could take care of that many. They didn't want to sell Andy or Corona, but they had to because of financial problems. Her feet were not done for about 7 months. They were 7 months overgrown, and they were like that long in the front. It was absolutely ridiculous. I'll insert a picture. Angle of her feet just really messed him up. She had to have special shoes, and that took a big chunk out of Mommy's bank account, didn't it? Yes, it did. Very much. We don't know what happened. I am pretty much here every single day unless I'm out of town, and one day I just couldn't make it, and she, the next day, had cuts all over her leg. They're a lot better now, like a lot better, but they're pretty deep, and her udder was extremely swollen. It was like all the way down here, just extremely swollen. It's softened up, it's less swollen now. I can insert a picture, but we don't know what happened. And we checked her stall, we checked the turnout, everywhere that she has been, and there's no sharp edges anywhere that she could have cut herself on. So we think it could have been a coyote or something of the sort, because we did find a dead rabbit that was half eaten. But we don't really know. Like, we have no clue. And I know that sounds awful, but I mean, in the middle of the night, something happened. We just don't know what happened. So she's getting better. She's fine. This is probably 3 days later after it was swollen. So it's gotten a lot better. I checked her for all kinds of issues. There's no fluid or anything leaking out. So she doesn't have any problems after her pregnancy. So here I am just grooming Andy, giving her, again, a basic grooming session. She started to rub out part of her mane when she was trying to eat the grass, which I've worked way too hard on her mane to just let it all fall out. So I've been conditioning it, putting in coconut oil at the base, massaging her scalp, putting everything I can to just make sure there is no irritation there, although I know it's from her trying to eat the grass. I tried to make it so it would slip better and not get caught. And here I am picking her feet, her hooves. My farrier did end up messing up her hooves, so I am being very gentle. She is lame at the moment from that, so I am finding a new farrier, and I just want her to be happy and healthy. She's very good with me picking her feet, very sweet girl, totally fine with it, and it just makes my life so much easier. I put sound on her to help strengthen her hooves so we can get her back on track and help her out. So here I am doing their grain. First I take a few scoops of beet pulp and I make sure to soak it for a good period of time, and then I separate it from Andy's bucket into Corona's. Andy's bucket is dirty because of the fact that we soak it in there, but I do not feed her in that bucket. I only use it to mix her grain. She has one built into her stall. And here I am struggling to open the trash can. For some reason, I just kept dropping the lid, but I give them each a scoop of Integrity Senior Grain with no molasses. And then here I am giving them 3 scoops of Super 14 supplement. I think that's what it's called. And then that's for overall health. And then I do Vita Plus. It's just some vitamins and overall stuff to help them out. It's a very small amount. Then I use my special coat supplement for Corona. Here I am pouring in some flaxseed oil. Very healthy, helps them just develop. And then I'm pouring in Andy's grain, and of course take off the halter, always take off the halter. And then here I am giving Corona her grain. So yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you can, there is a link below to where you can donate for our rescue organization. If you can't donate, just share, like, subscribe, whatever you can do. I appreciate it so much. It's really beneficial to our rescue and our cause. Thank you so much for everything. With love from Shirley's home. Bye!